When I gave birth to our first child, Daniel promised that the baby would take my last name. All my friends envied me, saying I had a wonderful Daniel. But when it was time to register the birth certificate, Daniel insisted the baby take the last name Lin, claiming it was due to a family tradition based on an old belief. By the time I was pregnant with our second child, I decided to take matters into my own hands. But when I arrived at the county's office, I discovered I was never actually married, even the marriage certificate was fake. Just then, my social media feed received a video. In the video, Daniel was wearing a sharp black suit, but the bride by his side wasn't me. At the end of the video, Daniel spoke a few words. Amber and I have been childhood sweethearts for so many years, we've finally tied the knot. Grace gave me 2 children and a home, but has waited for me all these years, and I owe her an explanation. And none of you are to tell Grace, or you'll face the consequences. Right after I finished watching the video, a message from Daniel popped up. Are you comfortable at the postpartum clinic? Is the baby behaving? I'll be back to be with you and the kids as soon as I finish up this work. Our family will never be apart. When I return this time, I'll bring you the gift I carefully prepared. I stared at the words our family, and my stomach churned. I had just watched that video, seen with my own eyes him marrying his childhood sweetheart. Now, he was casually playing the role of a loving husband. Did he truly think I was beyond redemption, that I was that stupid? 8 years, and we had 2 children. All his kindness to me on a daily basis was just an act. I had fallen out with my parents to marry him, and he'd told me repeatedly, Grace, I will never let you down in this life. I'll be good to you, just let me take care of you. I was often sickly, with minor ailments. He would keep a stock of different medications for me at home. He would also thoughtfully massage me and buy all sorts of health supplements. When was born, he held the baby in my arms, his eyes overflowing with tenderness. Grace, you worked so hard giving birth. Look how much he resembles you, he should take your last name, Shin. During postpartum recovery, he cared for me tirelessly every day, even ignoring messages from his company. I was utterly moved then, believing I had married the best man in the world. Even our friends said we were a perfect match, a match made in heaven. My phone vibrated furiously, and the words Daniel on the screen stung my heart again. Grace? Why aren't you replying to my messages? Daniel's voice was as gentle as ever, yet tinged with a hint of guilt. Are you uncomfortable at the postpartum clinic? Or is the baby bothering you? I was still stuck on the image of him standing on stage in wedding attire with another woman, and I didn't reply for a long time. A few seconds later, his gentle pretense finally shattered, and his tone was filled with impatience. Grace, what kind of tantrum are you throwing now? Who's been talking nonsense to you? I just went on a business trip to another city. I'm working so hard to make money so our family can live well. Can't you be more understanding? If I weren't out working hard to earn money, would you be able to hire a postpartum nurse and a nanny to take care of you? The pain in my heart intensified, and I struggled to control my sobs. Daniel, you should get some rest. I still have to feed the baby tomorrow. Hearing my reply, Daniel was satisfied and hung up the phone. I wiped away the last tear from my face and rushed to the bathroom, throwing up uncontrollably. It was as if I was expelling the past 8 years. Suddenly, my social media feed showed a notification that Daniel had liked someone else's post, but then he quickly unliked it. I immediately used my recent memory to find that person's account. Her account was public, and her latest post was just a few hours ago. The photo showed 2 glaring marriage certificates, with pregnancy test results next to them. The caption read, Daniel, for the rest of our lives, please guide me. And our baby, please arrive safely. I clicked to enlarge the image, seeing the man's hand, wearing a wedding ring and holding the marriage certificate. The watch on his wrist was an anniversary gift I bought him for his birthday last year, after maxing out my credit card. I once thought this was a testament to our love. But now, I, the woman who bore him 2 children, didn't even have a real marriage certificate. It turned out I was the actual other woman, hidden in the shadows. Our children were considered illegitimate children. I couldn't hold back any longer, tears streamed down my face. Wiping away my tears, I dialed my parents' number, who lived in another city. Eleanor, I was wrong. Daniel really isn't a trustworthy man. Eleanor, I want to take the children, and come back. Can you forgive me for going against your wishes back then? There was silence on the other end for a few seconds. Then my father William's calm and firm voice came through. All right, send me the information. William will book your tickets. There wasn't a single question, not a single word of blame. I hung up the phone, and the tears I had just managed to stop flowed again. Just then, a WhatsApp friend request popped up. The profile picture was the bride from the video, Daniel's childhood sweetheart. After I accepted, a message immediately came through. Sister, don't blame Daniel, he's just too soft-hearted. He said he only married you to repay a debt of gratitude, since your family once helped his. We're the ones truly in love, and now I'm pregnant with Daniel's children, twins, actually. He said he owes me a proper status, and he owes our children a home. Don't worry, sister, Daniel said he'd give you a large sum of money, enough to ensure you and the children live comfortably for the rest of your lives. We're not unreasonable people, right? I looked at her manipulative messages and almost burst out laughing from anger. I immediately took a screenshot and posted it directly to my social media feed. I made it visible only to Daniel's questionable friends. The caption I wrote was casual. Daniel, which friend is this? Someone keeps adding me on WhatsApp and talking nonsense. Has their account been hacked? You should take a look. At Daniel, in less than a minute, comments from Daniel's good brothers uniformly flooded in. Grace, this must be a scammer. Don't believe them. Exactly, Grace, Daniel's devotion to you is clear to see. There are too many online scammers these days. Grace, just focus on your postpartum recovery, don't let these people upset you. We've already reported her. It wasn't long before Daniel, having caught wind of it, called me. Grace, are you alright? My friends told me about that social media feed post, it must be a scammer. They're trying to sow discord between us. I've already had my friends report her, so don't take it to heart. When I get back from my business trip, your postpartum recovery will be over. Just wait for me obediently at home. Daniel's tone grew increasingly guilty, and I sneered inwardly. Yes, I'll wait for you. Daniel's voice instantly relaxed. Get plenty of rest, postpartum recovery is the most important thing. I'll bring you a gift when I get back from my business trip. I hung up the phone and immediately began packing my luggage. I opened the closet and quietly slipped a few pieces of my and the children's intimate clothing and documents into an inconspicuous diaper bag. As I moved, a velvet box rolled out from a corner. I opened it to find a delicate platinum necklace inside, with a small diamond chip as a pendant. This was the gift Daniel gave me when our first child was born. He said, Grace, you've worked so hard. This is from my secret funds I saved up for a long time. It's not expensive, but it represents my heart. At that time, I was incredibly touched, thinking he had given me his best. But then I saw Amber's social media feed, filled with all sorts of luxury goods. Every post showcasing luxury goods in her social media feed was bragging that Daniel had bought them for her. Even for the same business trip, he bought me cheap local souvenirs, but for Amber, he bought luxury goods from the duty-free shop. Yet at the time, I thought he was very thoughtful, that he wouldn't just use money and material things to please me. I carefully collected these inexpensive little gifts, not throwing a single one away, filling an entire closet. After I finished packing the luggage I had at the postpartum clinic, Eleanor sent a message. Grace, tomorrow's flight is at 3 p.m. The flight information has been sent to your email. We'll welcome you and the little ones then. I barely managed to close my eyes until almost dawn. Not long after, the door was dramatically pushed open. Daniel walked in, carrying an insulated food container, looking travel-worn, and faintly smelling of women's perfume. Baby, I'm back. He leaned down and pressed a kiss on my forehead. Miss me? Look what I brought you. He opened the insulated food container like he was presenting a treasure, and the rich aroma of chicken soup instantly filled the air. I specifically asked the auntie from my hometown to nourishing chicken soup, it's the most restorative. He said this while looking at the baby in the bassinet, his face glowing with fatherly affection. My sweet daughter, grow up quickly, and William will take you to Disneyland. If I hadn't seen him marry and register with someone else with my own eyes, I would have almost been fooled again by his facade of the perfect husband and a good William. As he was serving the soup, the screen of his phone, which he had casually placed on the nightstand, lit up. A message popped up, labeled Amber Darling. Daniel, are you with her yet? Don't forget what I said, M. Aker signed the agreement. The money we're giving her is enough for her to live comfortably for life. The babies and I are waiting for you to come home. When I saw that message, I suddenly couldn't breathe, and the hair on my arms stood on end. I instinctively reached out, wanting to grab his phone. What are you looking at? Daniel's voice suddenly rose, like a cat whose tail had been stepped on. He rushed over, holding the steaming soup bowl, his eyes filled with panic and vigilance. Drink the soup first. He eagerly pushed the soup bowl towards me. The edge of the scalding ceramic bowl slammed against the back of my hand, and I cried out in pain. The entire bowl of hot soup instantly spilled, most of it splashing onto my arm. My arm immediately turned a large patch of red, but Daniel ignored it, snatched his phone, and returned to his daughter's side. Daniel emerged from the nursery and sharply questioned, "Did you upset Amber?" I watched him silently. His eyes held only condemnation for me, completely forgetting that I had just been scalded because of him. "Amber isn't well, she's emotionally sensitive, so don't keep upsetting her." He stuffed his phone back into his pocket, his tone full of blame, as if I were the unreasonable other woman. I sneered, lifting my reddened arm. "So, her emotional sensitivity means my being scalded isn't important, is that it?" Tiny blisters had already started to form on my swollen skin. His gaze flickered away for a moment, then he became self-righteous again. "I didn't do it on purpose. Why did you suddenly snatch my phone? Besides, you're a mother, what's a little pain like this? Amber has depression, the doctor said she shouldn't be provoked. Can't you be understanding? As long as you apologize to Amber, we can let this go." I almost burst out laughing. How could there be such a brazenly shameless person in this world? Seeing my silence, he probably thought I was intimidated, and his tone softened. "Grace, I know you wronged, but has waited for me all these years, and she has depression, she can't live without me. And I love you and the children more. You don't want the kids to be bullied by classmates because they're from a single-parent home, do you? How about this? From now on, I'll maintain separate lives, and we won't interfere with each other. In modern society, isn't this normal? We should be more open-minded. Separate lives, enjoying a double life?" I couldn't believe he had the nerve to say that. I looked at his face, which once made my heart flutter, now feeling utterly unfamiliar and disgusted. "Daniel, let's get a divorce." The smile on his face froze instantly, as if he'd heard the most ridiculous joke. "Divorce? Grace, are you out of your mind? You're a stay-at-home mom who's been out of society for 8 years. What else can you do besides take care of children? Have you forgotten how badly you fell out with William and Eleanor to marry me? If you go back now, would they even want you? Where could you go, dragging 2 burdens with you?" I never expected the husband I loved for 8 years to use what I did for him as a weapon against me. Daniel saw my continued silence and thought I had compromised. The disdain and smugness in his eyes overflowed. Just then, his phone rang again. He immediately answered, his voice completely devoid of the sarcasm he'd used on me moments before, softly coaxing the person on the other end. "Don't cry, darling, I'll be right there." "Her? She's fine, just throwing a little tantrum. You wait for me at home, okay?" Amber's sobbing voice came through the phone. "Daniel, please don't let there be conflict between sister and me. After all, I'm the one who disturbed you too." Hearing mention me, Daniel scoffed. Then he instantly reverted to that gentle, solicitous demeanor from before. "Amber, this isn't your fault. It's all because Grace is unreasonable. Amber, I'm coming to you now." He hung up the phone, didn't even bother to look at me again, grabbed his car keys, and walked out. Before leaving, Daniel condescendingly threw out one last remark. "Call and apologize by tomorrow. Otherwise, you and your children can get out." Early the next morning, I took the children to the airport. I had the housekeeping staff throw out all those trashy gifts at home. As soon as I got out of the car, I received a message from Daniel. "Have you come to your senses? Come back now and make soup for Amber and apologize. Otherwise, you can wait for a court summons. You won't get custody of even one child." Looking at Daniel's clownish rant, I sneered and pressed the power button, turning off my phone. "Young, the plane is waiting at the dedicated private airstrip. Welcome home." I imagined Daniel staring at his phone screen. The last message was still that same line. "Otherwise, you can wait for a court summons. You won't get custody of even one child." He must have been annoyed that I hadn't replied with a single word. I could almost picture him irritably tugging at his tie. He likely scoffed, thinking, a stay-at-home mom who's been out of society for 5 years, dragging 2 burdens with her. Does she really think anyone would want her? She even fell out with William and Eleanor. Without me, she wouldn't even have a roof over her head. He probably sneered, she must be hiding in some corner crying right now, waiting for me to go coax her back. Daniel must have sneered again. Fine, I'll give her this way out. He then must have floored the gas pedal, deciding to go home and personally teach me a lesson. Thinking, I'll make her understand who's truly in charge of this home. When he finally pushed open the front door, I knew he would have frozen. He would have thought, that's not right. Grace was angry at the postpartum clinic last night. Shouldn't she be home throwing a fit today? He would have called out, "Grace?" His voice would have echoed in the empty living room, with no reply. An ominous fey. Ealing would have surged into his mind. Daniel would have rushed upstairs, slamming open the master bedroom door. The room would have been excessively tidy, as if housekeeping had just cleaned it. And all her clothes in the closet would have been gone. Daniel would have rushed into the children's room. The backpacks, sketchpads, storybooks were gone. Evan's favorite superhero action figure was missing. Daniel would have dialed my phone number, his hands trembling. From the receiver, he would have heard that cold, mechanical voice. "The phone you are trying to reach has been turned off." Daniel, enraged, would have thrown his phone directly against the wall. Daniel's heart would have suddenly felt like it was thrown into raging flames, burning unbearably. He would have realized Grace really left, taking the children with her. Just then, his backup phone would have rung. It was Amber calling. "Daniel, are you okay? Did give you a hard time?" Amber's fragile, tearful voice would have come through. "Shut up," Daniel would have said, his face dark. "Don't bother me." Amber's voice, thick with aggrieved sobs, would have come again. "Daniel, sister doesn't actually have to apologize. After all, I'm the one who married you. I can forgive sister." "Enough. Grace is the one I've been with for 8 years. Now I'm going to find Grace." Daniel would have hung up without hesitation, disregarding Amber's feelings. He must have muttered, "Grace, you're a stay-at-home mom with no money and no connections. Where could you possibly go? Back to your parents? William and Eleanor already disowned you." "Yes, she definitely has nowhere to go. She's probably regretting it in some cheap motel with the children. I have to find her. Only I will take good care of her. And the 2 children can't be without a William." I sipped the special comforting meal my Eleanor had personally stewed for me, looking out at the private jet bearing the Shin family crest on the dedicated private airstrip. Outside the window, I lowered my eyes and said calmly, "Eleanor, the marriage certificate Daniel and I had, it was fake." The fine china spoon in Eleanor's hand, worth a fortune, dropped onto the tray with a crisp clatter. Far from being shocked, she let out a long sigh of relief and pulled me into her embrace. "Thank goodness, my darling didn't actually fall into that pit of fire." She gently patted my back, as if soothing a frightened child. "Leo has the last name Lin, and Mia has the last name Lin too. How dare he make our Shin family's children take someone else's last name?" My nose stung, and I said, choking back tears. Back then, he said the children had a family tradition based on an old belief, and I believed him. Now that I think about it, it was just for his childhood sweetheart. "It's all right, my darling. It's enough that you're back." Eleanor wiped away the tears from her eyes, her gaze instantly turning sharp. "We'll find someone to register the birth certificates for both children with our surname immediately. Our family's children must be Shins." For all these years, because of Daniel, that master of empty promises, I had almost completely cut ties with my family, becoming utterly blinded by love. Now I had a rude awakening, but thankfully, it wasn't too late. Eleanor settled me onto the princess bed I had slept in since childhood. The familiar sweet scent filled my nostrils, and I sank into the soft bedding. Through the door, I could hear Henry and Margaret playing with the 2 children, Leo and Mia's laughter as clear as silver bells. This was the most peaceful sleep I'd had in 8 years. After waking up, I finally turned on my phone, which had been turned off for a long time. The moment it powered on, the screen was instantly flooded with countless WhatsApp messages and missed call notifications. 99 plus missed calls, 99 plus WhatsApp messages, all from the same person, Daniel. I casually opened a few of them. "Grace, are you playing hard to get? Is T. his amusing to you? You've grown bold, haven't you? Dared to turn off your phone? Do you believe that without me, your life is over? I was wrong, Grace, please come back, okay? I'll handle Amber, don't be angry anymore. Grace, where are you? Has something happened to you? Reply to my messages." Looking at these messages, I found them utterly ridiculous. As I was thinking, the familiar number rang again. I sneered and didn't hesitate to press the reject button. I simply opened all my social media apps and clicked deactivate on each account I had used for 8 years. From now on, the name Grace would live for herself. I had just put down my phone when my best friend's video call came in. "Girl, are you playing disappear? Do you know Daniel's practically going insane?" I took a sip of juice. "Oh? Is he?" "More than just. He's practically turned Sterling City upside down. He even came to my place yesterday, asking about your whereabouts like a mad dog." Chloe lowered her voice, speaking mysteriously. "I'm telling you, he seems genuinely desperate. I've never seen him so distraught." I scoffed. "He's just a clown." My friend continued, "Daniel even posted a missing person announcement online and contacted the bank to check your bank statements. trying to find out which hotel you were staying in. He even used his connections to check your whereabouts everywhere using his connections and surveillance. Seeing belated affection, all I wanted to say was, better late than never, but sometimes, it's just too late. Just as I was enjoying this long-awaited peace, a jarring doorbell rang, shattering the silence of the mansion. Eleanor frowned and pressed the connect button on the video intercom, and Daniel's face instantly appeared on the screen. Daniel had dark circles under his eyes and was unshaven. He stared intently at the camera, his gaze so fierce it seemed to want to pierce the screen and devour me whole. "Grace! Open the door! I'm your Daniel. I know you're in there," he roared, punching the cold wrought iron gate, his fist instantly turning bloody red. I sneered. "Daniel, trespassing is illegal. Should I call the police for you?" The on the screen froze, then a look of wild joy appeared on his face. "Grace, you're finally willing to talk to me. Listen to my explanation, Amber and I truly have nothing going on. Please stop this fuss and come home with me, okay?" I scoffed. "My home is right here. As for you, go back where you came from." The joy on his face instantly froze, replaced by hurt and anger. "Grace, don't be so ungrateful. Who do you think you are? Without me, how could you survive, dragging two burdens with you?" Before I could speak, Eleanor had already snatched the intercom, cursing at the screen. "Bah! Daniel, what kind of scoundrel are you? My daughter is the apple of her eye of the Shin family. She'll only live better after leaving an opportunist who exploited others like you. Get lost, or I'll make sure you can't survive in Sterling City." With that, Eleanor directly hung up the call. Instead, Daniel started frantically pounding on the main door, constantly shouting my name and the children's nicknames. Leo and Mia were scared by the commotion outside, their little faces pale as they hid in my arms. "Eleanor, who's outside?" Leo looked up, asking softly. I was about to comfort the two children when suddenly there was a commotion from the direction of the main door. Daniel, taking advantage of the nanny coming in with groceries, squeezed his way in like an eel. "Grace!" His eyes were bloodshot. He rushed towards me, taking Leo from my arms in one swift move. "Babies! William has come to take you home." He tightly held a startled, crying Mia, trying to win me back with the children. I watched Leo struggling and crying in his arms, and a surge of anger, suppressed for 8 years, shot straight to my head. I stepped forward and steadily took Mia, who was sobbing uncontrollably, back from him. I listened to Leo's heartbreaking cries, my emotions teetered on the edge of spiraling out of control. Daniel even turned it around on me, saying, "Grace, look what you've done to the children, scaring them like this." I finally looked up at him. "I scared the children like this? Daniel, you truly disgust me." William and Eleanor couldn't hold back anymore and immediately threw Daniel out. "Daniel, get out. You're not welcome here." "William? What did you just call me?" Daniel looked at William, his face full of hurt. "I'm your son-in-law. We're our family." "Who's our family with you?" I could no longer control myself, yelling shrilly while holding the children. "You made Leo and Mia take your last name, Lynn, because of Amber, your childhood sweetheart whom you hadn't seen for years, didn't you? And that marriage certificate. Daniel, do you dare say that certificate wasn't a fake one you had someone make?" Daniel's face instantly turned ashen, as if he'd been choked, unable to utter a single word. He probably thought I was still that hopelessly naive woman, a blinded by love person who had been manipulated by him for 8 years, beyond redemption. "Do you even deserve to be there, William? Do you even deserve to step through the Shin family's gates?" The more I spoke, the angrier I got, and I handed the children to Eleanor behind me. I used all my strength and slapped him hard across the face. Daniel's face was knocked to the side, a trickle of blood seeping from the corner of his mouth. He slowly turned his head, his eyes no longer pleading or trying to hold me back, but filled with utter shock and disbelief. Daniel clutched his stinging face, glaring at me as if I were his enemy. He gritted his teeth and asked, word by word, "Grace, what has happened to you?" I couldn't be bothered to waste any more words on him, and I used all my strength to push him out the door. William and Eleanor immediately stepped forward to help, and the three of us finally managed to push the madman out of the Shin family's gates. I leaned against the cold, heavy main door, as Daniel's frantic pounding and roaring from outside continued. Eleanor walked over, tenderly stroking my numb palm. "Does your hand hurt from hitting him? Next time, let William handle this kind of thing. Don't dirty your hands." I shook my head, about to say something, when my phone in my pocket suddenly vibrated. It was a text message from an unknown number. "Grace, who do you think you are, hitting Daniel? You occupied him for 8 years, made him suffer so many grievances, and now you want to ruin him?" I'm telling you, I'm the one he loves, always have been. Before I could reply, a sharp female voice replaced the sounds from outside the door. Daniel, snap out of it. Didn't you say you only loved me? Why are you still begging this woman when she's treated you like this? Amber's voice was tearful, sounding incredibly wronged. Daniel's voice, suppressing impatience, said, I've thought it through. The person I truly love is Grace. What about me? What am I? We just got married, and you're going to betray me already? Grace is the one I've been with for 8 years. What are you? What's so great about Grace? I've waited for you all these years. Have you forgotten our relationship? I looked down at Mia, who was being held by Eleanor, and Leo, who peeked out, his eyes filled with unease. I picked up both children and took them back to their room. I softly comforted them, babies, don't be afraid. Eleanor is going to chase away the big bad wolf outside. You wait here patiently for me. I walked step by step towards the main door that separated us from the chaos. William and Eleanor watched me nervously. Grace, what are you going to do? Open the door. I forced a cold smile. Time to see them out. I twisted the doorknob and abruptly pulled open the heavy main door. The moment Daniel saw me, the furious expression he had just shown to Amber instantly switched to one of deep affection. He shoved Amber aside and grabbed my wrist. Grace, you're finally willing to see me. Listen to my explanation. What I just said was all out of anger. You're the one I love, only you. Get away. Amber charged at me like a madwoman, her raised hand aiming for my face. Bitch. You're seducing Daniel again. I'll tear you apart. Daniel seized her wrist with his backhand. There was another crisp slap. This time, it wasn't me doing the hitting, nor me being hit. This slap landed on Amber's face. It was late, and the drama outside the door had long ended, yet I couldn't fall asleep. I quietly got up, wanting to check on the children. The children's room door was ajar. I pushed it open, and an unfamiliar, pungent chemical odor wafted out. A dark figure stood with her back to me, furtively by the bassinet, holding a syringe, preparing to inject Mia with something. I shrieked, and my blood instantly rushed to my head. Amber! The dark figure trembled violently and turned around. It was indeed Amber. Amber's face showed no trace of panic at being caught. Instead, it was filled with poisoned resentment and madness. Grace, why aren't you sleeping in the middle of the night? I was just about to send your 2 children on their way. After all, they shouldn't have been born. You wouldn't dare. My eyes widened in fury, and my blood ran cold. I hadn't expected her to sneak into my home, let alone be so malicious as to try and harm my children. She casually tossed the syringe in her hand and approached me step by step. Her face was already contorted like a demon. Grace, you ruined everything for me, so I'm going to destroy what you cherish most. This is called an eye for an eye, don't you understand? You, the other woman. I couldn't control myself any longer. No one could touch my children. We began to struggle. Just as we were wrestling, the children's room door was violently pushed open again. Daniel had arrived, but he had originally intended to steal the children and hadn't expected to find Amber and me wrestling. Seeing him, Amber seemed to see a savior, and immediately adopted a tearful, pitiable tone. Daniel, save me quickly. This crazy woman is trying to kill me. She's insane. He strode over quickly. I thought he would indiscriminately protect his precious darling. But he yanked Amber away and directly threw her to the ground. Amber was utterly stunned, looking at him in disbelief. Daniel, you pushed me? You pushed me for her? Daniel didn't even glance at her. Instead, he looked at me anxiously. Are you hurt? Come, I'll take you to the hospital. At the hospital, the doctor cleaned my wound and carefully bandaged it with gauze. Daniel stayed by my side the entire time, attending to my every need, as if we were still that loving couple. The wound is a bit deep. It's best to stay overnight for observation to prevent infection, the doctor advised. I was about to say no, but Daniel had already spoken up. Okay, doctor, please arrange the best hospital room. I weakly leaned back on the hospital bed, watching him busy himself for me, but my heart sneered. 1 second he was sarcastic toward me for Amber, the next he was laying hands on Amber for me. Daniel went to buy me a late-night snack, and I was left alone in the hospital room. Suddenly, the hospital room door was gently pushed open, and a chilling draft blew in. It was Amber. She had actually followed me to the hospital. Grace, die, she shrieked, lunging at me, her hands clamped tightly around my throat. A feeling of suffocation instantly overwhelmed me. I struggled desperately, trying to pry her wrists away with my hands. But she was using all her strength. My struggles were a drop in the bucket compared to hers. With a bang, the hospital room door was kicked open. Daniel rushed over, ripped Amber off me, and slammed her against the wall. How did I never realize how malicious you are? He gritted his teeth, saying, word by word, UTR. IED to kill her? Amber suddenly laughed, tears streaming down her face. Yes. I did try to kill her. Daniel, you forced me to do it. You did. I leaned against the headboard, feigning shock, a single tear perfectly hanging beneath my eye. Amber, taking advantage of Daniel looking at me, tried to run away. Seeing this, Daniel immediately pinned Amber to the ground. Daniel called the police, and soon the siren could be heard. Amber had completely lost her mind, still mumbling something about, you forced me to do it. The police arrived quickly, professionally taking control of the scene. I weakly pointed at Amber and said, Officer, she tried to kill me. The bluish-purple finger marks around my neck were the most direct evidence that Amber had tried to kill me. No. It was her. She started it. Daniel, tell them. Amber shrieked like a madwoman, desperately clinging to Daniel, her last hope. Daniel looked at the hysterical Amber, his eyes practically overflowing with disgust. His voice was hoarse yet remarkably clear. I called the police. She attempted murder. I witnessed it with my own eyes. The light in Amber's eyes completely extinguished. As she was being led away in handcuffs, she shot me a venomous glare. I gave her an innocent, mournful look in return. But inside, fireworks were going off. It felt incredibly satisfying. Finally, only the two of us remained in the hospital room, and the air seemed to solidify. Daniel sat by my bed, cautiously reaching to hold my hand, but I gently pulled away. He froze for a moment, his face etched with pain and regret. It's my fault. I misjudged people and caused you and the children so much hardship. Please, give me another chance, okay? Let's start over. I scoffed inwardly. No way I'm starting over with you, I whispered to Daniel. So much has just happened. I need some time to process everything. As soon as he heard this, he instantly saw a glimmer of hope. Okay, take all the time you need. I'll wait. Watching him act so utterly desperate, I almost burst out laughing. The next day, Daniel indeed acted like the perfect husband. He personally cooked 4 dishes and a soup and brought them to the hospital to feed me. He swore convincingly that he would make sure Amber was punished, trying to appease me this way. Grace, regarding Amber, I've already hired the best lawyer. She will definitely face the severest punishment. I nodded, but inside, I was counting down. 3, 2, 1. The door to the hospital room was pushed open again. Only this time, it was 2 more uniformed police officers who entered. The smile on Daniel's face instantly froze. Officers, wasn't yesterday's matter already concluded? The lead officer's face was expressionless as he pulled out a document from his briefcase. Mr. Daniel, we suspect you are involved in embezzlement, misappropriation of funds, and multiple financial crimes. Please come with us to assist with the investigation. Daniel's pupils constricted sharply. He looked at me in disbelief. Grace, could it be you? I wiped my mouth with a napkin and flashed him a brilliant smile. It's me, I said, tilting my head, my tone light. All those secret funds you hid in overseas accounts, and the bank statements detailing how you and Amber transferred marital assets, I've helped you package and organize them, then sent them with one click to the police. No need to thank me. Daniel's face went from flushed to ashen, then finally a ghostly gray. He finally understood that from the moment I left, I had been playing a long game, and his supposed control and affection were merely the most ridiculous pawns on my chessboard. The cold handcuffs clicked shut, binding the hands that once pulled all the strings. I waved at him, bidding my final farewell. I let out a long breath, feeling a heavy burden that had weighed on my heart for years was finally lifted. Then, I dialed William's phone. Dad, it's me. From the other end of the phone, Will. Liam's familiar, worried voice came through. Amber, are you all right? I smiled, tears tracing paths down my cheeks, but they were tears of joy. I'm fine. I'll be home to be with you soon. Thank you for watching today's story. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and share it with your friends. We look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments section. Feel free to share your views, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories. See you next time.